is Sarah Masi, and this is my project presentation for embedded systems. I've made a welcome home system that welcomes the homeowner by performing a lot of functions that we'll go through in the next few minutes. So this is my project, and I've made an enclosure with a recycled box. I have my motion sensors, my RFID read and write module, my camera that is connected to Raspberry Pi, RFID is also connected to Pi, motion sensor, and is connected to Argin. And on the other side of this project, I have another motion sensor and a light sensor. So the basis of this project is that the light sensor will check if it's day or night, and it'll report to this sensor. And if it's day, then the sensor will work. If it's night, this sensor will work. And if it's day, then this will not work. This sensor is in charge of turning on the lights in your garden area. So ideally, this would be near your gate or in your garden, but it would not be anywhere near your front door. And on this side of my project, so this is also powered by particle Argin. This is powered by Raspberry Pi, and this one is powered also by Raspberry Pi. When motion is detected by this motion sensor, then it sends a message to Raspberry Pi, which then controls the RFID read and write module and the camera. And for that, and there are two motion sensors, because the first thing is the range. So we would not be able to get the right range by using the same motion sensor in a realistic scenario where you would have this part of the project located somewhere in your garden and this part of the project located near your front door. When this motion sensor is activated, it means that someone's coming to your house, and you would hear a buzzer and as a automated doorbell, and a light will be turned on to give a sense that there's someone outside in your house. And this read and write module will also get activated, and your camera will get activated. Your camera will take a picture, and then your read and write module will check if the person who's entering the house has a valid key or not. So let me show you a working of this model. So right now I'll demonstrate how the RFID sensor works. So if there's motion over here, so it has it gives a red light, and now the RFID sensor is ready for accepting your card. So this card I have registered already. So we shall see what happens when an authorized person shows their card. So that's a green light over there. So that means the correct person has shown their card, and that sends information to the web, and we shall see. So this is the latest event, and it's at the right time. And I've also programmed it so that I get an email for any kind of entry, and this is the data that we are looking for. And now I'll demonstrate what happens if I put a card that's not registered. So if it's an incorrect card, then my setup will show a red light. So this card is not registered to the RFID sensor, so when I show it, it has a red light. So it takes time to scan, but once it does, it will show us a red light. So that's the red light, so this is not the correct card, and it gives us an unknown key, and that will also be sent on our webhooks on our Facebook and Gmail. So this says unknown key presented, and in Gmail we will also get unknown key. Now another thing about the project is that when there's movement in the near the front door, at that time this motion sensor will detect the movement, and it will give a a doorbell or a buzzer ring, and it will also turn on a light. So the reason I've kept an LED for it is to know when the buzzer is when the buzzer rings. The buzzer is very faint, so that's why. So it takes time to register movement sometimes. So that's how my motion sensor works. Now I'll demonstrate how the camera works. So when we had scanned the RFID key, at that time the camera had taken a picture. So this is the picture that has been taken. Since I'm not in frame and I simply scanned my card from the side, I have not been in the frame of the camera, so that's why my picture has not been taken. But ideally, when this project is kept in like a proper setup, at that time the person would be forced to show them their face while scanning their key, because the camera is right next to the tag, the RFID module. That's how the camera works. So let me explain the hardware connections of the project in a better way. So we have two systems that are clearly communicating. So first system is the particle argon system, which has 3 sensors attached to it: the first motion sensor, second light sensor, and the third motion sensor. And the second motion sensor is influenced by the light sensor. It will only work if the light sensor is telling us that it is nighttime. The buzzer and the yellow light are controlled by the first motion sensor, and the red light is controlled by the second motion sensor. We have a buzzer and an LED to notify us that there's someone coming home, and this LED works as, you could say, as garage lights or parking lights. So at night, if we have motion, then our garden lights would turn on. So this is what that light is signifying. So our particle argon gets our main value from motion sensor 1 and sends it over to Raspberry Pi. And Raspberry Pi is connected to our RFID model, our camera, which are both giving it inputs, and it gives outputs in terms of the green LED and red LED, where green LED says if it's a valid key and red gives an authorization error. And all of this communication then goes to the user so that the user can get what's happening. For the communication, so I have this flowchart. So let's say motion was detected by the first motion sensor, and that is sent to particle argon, which is uploaded on the cloud in the console as an event being published over here. And that event gets sent through IFTTT to Facebook and users so that we can see that motion has been detected at some point. So this factor is very important because it prevents any theft or lets us know of anybody outside who does not want to enter the house. Then we have so the values. So this motion sensor values then further goes to a webhook which is connected to ThinkSpeak, and that value from ThinkSpeak is sent to Raspberry Pi. Then Raspberry Pi checks the value if it is 0 or 1. So 1 if motion is detected and 0 if motion is not detected. So if it is detected, then it will initialize our camera and RFID sensor, and the camera takes a picture and saves it on the SD card which is on the computer of Raspberry Pi, and the user can later check it whenever they want. And when RFID sensor receives a go, then it will scan for any key, and when a key is presented, it will give this value to Pi, which will send the details of the key or the name, ID and all to a webhook, and that webhook is connected to IFTTT, and this trigger lets our user know who entered the house at what time through Facebook and Gmail. So Gmail is more of an urgent response, that's why I've included Gmail, whereas Facebook logs all the values and you can check at your ease. So this is how the communication is for the project. So let me walk you through the code for my motion sensor, for my Argin system. So as I said before, Argin is connected to 2 motion sensors and 1 light sensor. So we have initialized all our values and our libraries for these sensors, and set our buzzer as output, our garage lights as output. So this was the LED that was our red LED as seen in the flowchart, and we have our motion status variable that will be sent to webhooks, and our PIR motion sensor, the first one and the second one. Then our so this is our sensor for our light sensor. This is the light sensor initialization. So our loop begins by making the light sensor make force measurements, and that will be used later on. First we will check if there's any motion detected. So this particular motion sensor is not dependent on daylight. It will work for our buzzer and it will send values to Pi. So if there's anyone who comes to your house without ringing the doorbell, this will help you because it's an automatic doorbell, and it will initialize our RFID module and our camera in Pi. It checks if there's any motion or not. If there is motion, then we will publish a few values on our console, and it will publish our value on our motion status value on the console. This is read by our webhooks, so it's a very important statement. If there's no motion, then it will just delay for a second and check again. But if there is motion detected, then it'll wait for 1 minute. So for the sake of testing, I've kept it for 3 seconds, but ideally you would want to have it for 1 minute or longer so that we are not bombarded by the same motion. And this part of the code controls the second motion sensor, which would be turned on during the night times. So first we will check our light level. So for the sake of testing, I've kept it very low, but ideally this would be higher than 2000. So here we are reading our values from our second motion sensor. We are checking if it's high or low, similar as above. If it's high, then we print out our publish our value. Now this value is not read by our webhooks. Only the previous one, motion status, is read. So we are pretty safe as far as it's getting published to the same console as the other one. And finally, our daylight value is published. So this is the console, and you can see it's daytime. And this is the IFTTT trigger checking the light values. So let us look at the Python code right now. So let us look at our Python code right now. So this is my Python code for the Raspberry Pi. So we are importing our libraries here and setting our LED pins, green and red, to their respective names, and initializing our reader for our RFID module. So while this is true, we will first get our response from ThinkSpeak. So this was the our motion status value. So let me just show you ThinkSpeak. So taking the motion sensor values from ThinkSpeak, and we are so it comes out as a string, so we will slice them according to what we need. So finally our motion detected would be 0 or 1, and if it's 0 then it's absent, it doesn't have to do anything. If it's present, then we will initialize our camera, take a picture, save it according to the correct date and time, then capture the file and stop preview. So this is turning off the camera. Then we will start our reading the RFID module. ID and name is read, and then if our card ID is the correct one, so if it's my white card, it will print authorized and it will print my name and it'll register my name. So a good thing about this is if the ID is different, or if I want to add another key, I can simply add another statement, put the ID there, and put their name here if there are more housemates. Finally, if it's an unknown key or if it's not that ID, it will give an unknown key issue. If, however, the card is not properly scanned, it will also give us an unknown key problem. So finally, the reader reads and it'll post our value. So in this post, it will send us the ID and our name. I had attempted to send the image file as well, but that did not work out, unfortunately. For now, the user will just have to check the images from the computer itself, and then it'll work for the webhooks and it'll check again after 45 seconds. And this is how the Python code for my Raspberry Pi works. And for now, I'm saving all the images on desktop. So as I mentioned before in my project pitch, the advantages of the system is that it's a low-cost system. It's easy to communicate with the residents. It's good for houses that cannot be locked or they don't have gates. We won't have any surprise visits because of the buzzer. We have lights during the nighttime, and while my project works 24/7, it'll turn on the lights only during the only during the night time in the garden, and it's good in areas with limited street lights. And disadvantages of this is that it might have a few irrational triggers that will affect the buzzer, and it'll probably affect the lights as well. Or there could be some issues with the light sensor, so that could send us false values. And there's no off button that's implemented for the buzzer, and gate lights might turn on at night every time someone passes by on the road because the motion sensor is a little sensitive. However, if we position it properly, we might be able to solve the third one, but it depends from case to case. So this is my project for embedded systems, and I hope that you've had a good time listening to my project. Thank you.